Welcome to Z's and Threes.
For the win. Yes!
And we made it to All-Star break. After a jam-packed night, Wednesday, 15 games, teams limping across the finish line to get to the break based on tonight's starting lineups. Every team across the 5 games playing on back-to-backs. We'd get 2 good ones going to overtime. How would those and the others affect the standings landscape hitting the break? Well, I'll tell you. Plus, we find out a new voice that will be part of NBC's studio coverage of the NBA starting next year. This is TNT and Turner's final All-Star break. Who will it be come next season? Plus, our first look at SGA's coming signature shoe. Plenty to get to before we shut down for the All-Star break. Before we tip, if you like the show, please do like, subscribe. Give us 5 stars if you're listening on pod. Share with a friend to stay in the know. Remember, an assist makes 2 people happy. Let's get it. Group chat. Game of the night, Sacramento Kings, New Orleans Pelicans. The Kings trying to hit the break on a 4-game win streak, solidify their position within the play-in race, that 7 through 10 band. The Pelicans, well, they have lost their last 10 games. And it looked as if they were on their way, the Pelicans, to snapping their streak prior to a 15-6 late Kings run. Let's pick it up. 3 minutes left, 117 all. Domantas Sabonis gets an offensive rebound to dunk that's followed by a Pelicans technical. Willie Green, Pelicans head coach, who most likely won't be the Pelicans head coach come next year, did have a case for the technical that he got because Sabonis grabbed the netting to pull himself up for the dunk. I haven't thought of that. I should try it next time. Fast forward, after a sequence of fouls and free throw shooting for both teams, it's a 3-point Pelicans lead. Looks like they can get it in the clubhouse in regulation. Sabonis is purposely fouled. He makes the first, misses the second. Malik Monk gets the offensive rebound. And Bruce Brown, who is now a New Orleans Pelican, puzzlingly fouls. Your team's up 2. Why would you foul? Monk goes to the free throw line. He makes both. The game is tied. There's 5 seconds left. CJ McCollum, who had a monster night, gets a great floater look for the win. No, we go to overtime, but the story in overtime, it would be redemption for the veteran CJ McCollum for not hitting the game winner. He scored 11 points in the period, 3 made threes, part of his 43-point night. The Pelicans snap the slide. Overtime victory, 140-133. Rest of the slate, the other overtime game happened in Salt Lake City. Clippers Jazz. The Jazz coming off dispatching of the Lakers. That was in LA. Could they pull off the double dip defeats of LA teams? Clippers on the travel back-to-back. Ben Simmons. He was a buyout of the Nets, now playing for the Clippers, making his debut. Jazz, well, they had a 20-point lead in the first half. It settled at 60-54, hitting the lockers. Lead would hover around double digits until the 6:28 mark of the fourth, where Norman Powell, should have been an all-star, had an offensive rebound putback that gave the Clippers a 199 lead. We have a wild lead swing. Just 5 changes, 6 ties, though, in the game. One of them was at 26 seconds left. Both teams get a chance for go-ahead buckets. James Harden can't do it. Neither can Keontae George for the win. So to overtime we go. Overtime was about that said man, the air fryer, as I have dubbed him, because he's heating up. He can do it. Norman Powell, he scored 9 points, part of his 41-point night, his second career 40-point game. 43 is his career high when he was with Toronto, NBA champion in Toronto, if you were wondering. Good night for Powell. Clippers pull off the comeback, 120-116. 32, 10, and 7 for All-Star James Harden. 12.7 rebounds, 6 assists for Ben Simmons. Not a bad debut. 27 minutes of action. Teams shoot a wholly unethical 62 free throws combined. Heat Mavs. Check this out for Dallas. 8 players missing. Anthony Davis, Kyrie, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively II, and Caleb Martin. Also missing Luka Doncic because he's an LA Laker. The reporting on Daniel Gafford, bad as well. He will miss at least 6 weeks. That leaves Dallas without him, Lively, and Anthony Davis for a significant portion of the remainder of the regular season. So how would they play tonight? Well, the Heat coming off that blown lead, an 8-point fourth quarter Wednesday night at Oklahoma City. Only 4 single-digit fourth quarters have occurred in the NBA this season. Heat, they got 3 of them. It was a 1-point lead for the Heat at half, a 1-point Mavs lead at the end of the third. The game had 15 ties, 32 lead changes, 16 seconds left, down 3 for the Heat. Tyler Hero already having tied his season best with 40 points, has a corner 3 for the tie. No go. Mavs free throws finished it off, 118-113. Dante Exum, 27 points in the start for the NBA journeyman who's been injured for the majority of this year. The Mavs' third unit, I wouldn't even say it was their second unit that started, gets them a much-needed win. And the break could not have come at a more important time for the Dallas franchise, the Dallas fans trying to regroup across their last week plus. Stay in Texas, Golden State Warriors in H-Town to take on the Rockets. The Warriors, the hosts of this year's All-Star game, trying to stay within the West mix. The Rockets have hit the skids harder than any team contending on their way into the break. Had a 4-game slide that they snapped earlier this week, and they had a case of the early afternoon Fridays. They were just trying to get to the break. Did the Rockets just 48 points in the first half. They found a 25-5 run late in the third that made it a contest. It was the Rockets reserves, a.k.a. the Stay Ready crew, that got them back in it. Ime Udoka let them ride to try to get the win. It was 93-89 at the 4:23 mark. That puts us in clutch time. 5 points, 5 minutes. Houston, however, went scoreless across the next 2.5 minutes. It would stay within 2 possessions before Draymond Green sunk a 3 to put the Warriors up 9 under a minute. Golden State closes it out. Buck 05-98. The Warriors have won 3 of the 4 meetings between the two this season. Still one more to come, April 6th in the Bay. Final game of the night. This was the lone national TV game up in Minnesota between the Thunder and the Wolves. Thunder coming off that big comeback. Rudy Gobert was pulled right before tip, joining Mike Conley, Dante DiVincenzo, and Julius Randle on the bench. Wolves coming off a loss on Wednesday night. It was an 8-point lead for them at half. Would the Thunder find it in the second half like they did on Wednesday against the Heat? Well, they tie up the game in the early minutes of the third, but a couple of double-digit runs for the Wolves secure the victory over their division, even though divisions are meaningless. Rival 116-101. Wolves go wire to wire with the victory. Game high, 27 from Naz Reid, 23 from Anthony Edwards, who, in spite of shooting 3 for 12, he gonna shoot the 3. Minnesota defense holds SGA under 30 points, which is an accomplishment. 24 points he scored on 6 of 21, 11 made free throws. I say that because there were chants of free throw merchant from the Wolves Target Center crowd. That's, in my definition, when you talk about ethical versus unethical basketball, I'm talking about free throw shooting. Thunder, they have their 7-game win streak snapped. And it would be poetic with the Thunder loss, how he would hit the All-Star break standings-wise. So who has the best record in the league? All-Star break, we are tied. The 2 best teams, clearly all year, both with 15-game win streaks, both clear of the top of the table in their respective conferences. They split their head-to-head matchup thus far this season. The next time that we could see them against one another would be in the NBA Finals. I'm talking Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, both sitting at 44-10. That's an 8-12 win percentage. So if you project it out across the 82 games, they would both win 66. So I'm going to ask y'all, which do you think win over 65? There's 28 games left. Do you think both? Do you think neither? One of the two? Let me know. In terms of their respective conferences, Thunder, they are 8 games ahead of the Grizzlies in second place, and the Cavs are 5.5 clear of the Celtics. Celtics may be able to make that interesting, although 5.5 is a lot with 28 left. 4 through 6 and 7 through 9 is where the battles you'll want to keep an eye on post-break in the Eastern Conference. Sixers could also find a way to sneak into that final play-in spot, but based on the Sixers season, Is that appealing to you whatsoever to be the 10 seed, have to win 2 games to then face off against the presumptive top seed Cavs? I don't know. You let me know if you're a Sixers fan. In the West, big question, who will get the 2? Right now, Denver chasing it. Memphis, Houston has been in that spot. The Nuggets have the longest win streak in the league at 8 consecutive going into the break, just a half game behind the Memphis Grizzlies. Also, those final 2 home court spots, 2, 3, 4, 3, and 4 could really be in the mix. 4 through 7 in the West is separated by just 3.5 games. From there, 7 through 10, Minnesota being in the 7, just 3. So that is what you will want to watch in the West. I think we know the 10 teams that will be in the playoff mix. Sorry, Phoenix, I think you were the team out. But who will end up 2 through 10? Well, your guess as good as mine. Let me know in the comments. Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by the great folks at Portland Water. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. No one in the 50s, so no water cans cracked or signed. We got Jamal Murray up there joining Shai for his 50-point. Said last night, I think 13 50-point performances we've had in the season thus far. 3 players, though, tonight go for over 40. 2 of them did it in overtime. Tyler Hero did it in regulation with 40. CJ McCollum takes the cake, former Portland Trailblazer, with his 43. Dunk of the night? Well, 2 that stuck out to me. Anthony Edwards went right at Chet Holmgren on a bang out, and Siv Mikhailiuk for the Utah Jazz, if you're not familiar. He put one down with authority, went coast to coast in overtime for the Utah Jazz. Performance of the night? I'm going to give it to the Wolves defense, the effort they put on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder. If this team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, is going to have any playoff success, that is where they hang their hat, and they showed it tonight. And speaking of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the front runner, or one of them, for the MVP. It's between him and Jokic at this point. It was reported earlier this season that the All-Star break would be when we got the first look at his first signature shoe with Converse. They are relaunching into the space with Shai as their creative director of basketball. It's a shoe that he helped design through the sketch process, has a history as a sketch artist, and helped design his own logo you can see on the tongue. Focus through the design process was as much on-court performance as it was off-court versatility. It is giving Sweet Tims. It will be referred to as butter. These model that you see here, this colorway you see here, but to me, definitely giving Answer 4, Allen Iverson, Answer 4 vibes. Reported that you can get your hands on a pair come fall of this year. Shouts to Nick DePaula, big in the shoe game, that had done the reporting for Boardroom and providing the information and pictures as well. In terms of NBA coverage, you know I like to stay in this space as well. NBC taking over. Turner, this is their final season under this deal, and announced today that Carmelo Anthony will serve as their lead studio analyst come next year. It's an 11-year deal for NBC. It includes the All-Star game, so this is the final for Turner, if you didn't see Shaq saying such tonight. There will be Monday games on Peacock, their streaming services, Tuesday night games on NBC, and then after Sunday night football ends, they will go with Sunday night matchups. They will air a third of the playoffs and 6 conference finals over that 11-year span. The studio team will be Maria Taylor. You know her from college football and NFL Sunday Night Football. She is the candidate to lead the coverage as the host, joined by Carmelo, and we will see who else. Game analyst Jamal Crawford and Reggie Miller. They are still out. Looking at others, Dwayne Wade, Grant Hill may be in the mix. These are folks that have been at Turner. Play-by-play, Mike Tirico and Noah Eagle. Yeah. So that is the voice that you can expect as the lead analyst for NBC come next season. When you watch the NBA, Carmelo Anthony, what do you think? How will Melo do? Melo still is somewhat connected to this generation, but I am intrigued. Melo has definitely carved out a space for him within media with his podcast with Mero, but it will be very interesting to see him walk into more of a formal space. I think that this role requires a deep knowledge of the league's players, the league's rosters, the trends within the game, front office movement. It's a lot of homework. I know from doing this show, so we'll see if Carmelo is ready for the job. House shoes for the evening, kicks on feet. We got the Jordan 1 Shadows. Jordan 1s are not banned in my sneaker rotation. I just banned anything that's reimagined. Wanted to leave you guys heading into the All-Star break with some reflections from season 3s. And thank you guys, everybody that's rocked with the show over the period of time leading up to the All-Star break. The idea, it started prior to the season. I wanted to bring a more concise, accurate storytelling platform to the NBA conversation that I felt has disintegrated in terms of quality and discussion. It just feels like everybody's running to their corners, cheering for their teams, but the league needs better storytelling, and that's where I've hoped that season 3s has continued to fill the void. It started with me, just the handheld mic, the headphones in the background, and OBS. Go back on YouTube. The preseason tests are on there. It's amazing to watch how the show has evolved. 109 videos later, 73 subscribers on YouTube. Shout out to each and every one of you. Nearly as many across Spotify and the Apple podcast platforms. Thank you so much for all of you that have watched, commented, given your feedback to improve the show, given story ideas, show ideas, shared with others. Remember, an assist makes 2 people happy. But thank you. Excited where we can go with the show. I think that the season is wide open. I have said that. I think that the storylines are amazing. And I'm trying to each and every night, Monday through Friday, your boy's got to do his thing with his family and young son, that we can bring it every night and keep you informed, give you something to wake up to, listen to bring you up to speed. Season 3's You Sleep, I Peep. That is the premise and the idea of the show. You do not have to watch the league 24/7 because that's what I am here for. I look forward to carrying it through the stretch run down into the playoffs, everything that we've done, building on that and going further. I think that this season is poised to give us a one-of-a-kind finish in so many different ways that we have talked about. So thank you all for rocking with me. I hope that you continue to do such. Share with as many friends as you can to help us build up the following that is season 3's You Sleep, I Peep. Appreciate it. What to watch for this All-Star weekend? Well, Friday night, the Rising Stars 3-game tourney will determine Team Candace for Sunday. Saturday night, there's the skills, the three-point, and the slam dunk. In the three-point competition, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Cam Johnson, Damian Lillard, Norman Powell. Give me Tyler Hero on that. The dunk, Matas Buzelis, Steph Castle, Andre Jackson Jr., and back-to-back defending champ Mac McClung. He is looking to become the second player to make it 3 championships. Sunday night, we will have the 3 games, each game to 40 to crown an all-star champion. New format if you are not familiar. Interested to see how it goes off. In the dunk contest as well, for the first time ever, NBA ID members can vote. It will average into the score for a 5th judge. So that's all you need to watch come this All-Star weekend. We will be back Monday to let you know everything that you might have missed. Have a great weekend. Peace.